guitarists. Today we're interviewing a friend of mine. I met him at university. Did you know that I was a part of a student-run record label? I was there doing like social media, learning about it basically because I knew nothing about it apart from how to chat to my family and friends. Yeah, we were both part of it, and that's how we met properly, and we had lovely chats. His name is Carrington. He's a very hard-working musician, and I have actually attempted to do this before. No, not an interview with him, a video with him. And I was editing it, and it was almost finished getting there, and then it wasn't good enough, and then it got lost. And I couldn't finish it. So it will, I don't know, it's gone. It's forever gone. But this interview will make up for that. But yeah, we have interviewed him before. It was a while ago, and some new stuff has happened in his life, which I'm looking forward to hear more about. But yeah, below in the description you will find links to learn more about him and what he's doing. So if you're interested, click on them, all of them. Check out what he does. He's a nice person. And without further ado, let's get started. All right, so you were one of our first guitarists of the month, all the way back in the summer of 2020. So yeah, I'm gonna ask you, how are you? What's been going on since then?
So I moved away from London kind of halfway through COVID because I was thinking about it for a while, and I was like, I wanted a little bit more countryside, so I moved away. I now live in Bath.
Hey, representing. I don't live in Epicom.
You don't? Yeah, so I moved to Bath, and I was doing a little bit of teaching when I got here, and I was doing a few wedding gigs and that kind of thing, and I met a guy called Jack on a wedding gig. And a few months went by, and he said, there's a few of us going over to the Middle East to do some playing. It's 6 nights a week, 3 hours a night. It's very intense, but it's very good for your repertoire, very good to just for your performances, and just to be like absolutely immersed in music all of the time. So I ended up in Dubai for 3 months, came back for a month, went out for another 3 months, and then came back for a month, and then went out to Bahrain for a couple of months and played there as well, and did the same thing in a different venue in Bahrain. And suffice to say, your repertoire gets a lot bigger.
Walking down the hall faster than a cannonball. Where were you while we were getting high? Some day you were flying, company the last line, and a champagne simply over in the sky.
I can imagine playing 6 days a week. That's quite intense. What was that experience like? I know it's 3 hours playing, but a lot of people don't take into account that there's, of course, even just to dress up and all that, it's all part of putting on a show and practicing your instrument to make sure you're in top shape every day. Yeah, 6 days a week is very intense.
Yeah, it was very intense. You're on kind of a schedule that you'll go on stage about 9 o'clock in the evening, 7:30, 9 o'clock in the evening, and then you'll probably stop sometime around 1 or 1:30 in the morning. At which point, then you've got to sort of, you do a minor pat down, and then you get the bus back to your accommodation. So it was definitely a learning experience. But as far as playing on stage goes, it really does. Well, for me anyway, it brought me out of my shell quite a lot, because I've never been a shy performer, but it's only when you're doing it, or only when I was doing it on that constant basis every single night, just hammering it, that I was doing things that I wouldn't normally do. You know, I'm lifting the guitar up in the air, or, you know, you get so comfortable you end up playing on tables, or I eventually went wireless. There's a really good wireless company, Cable Free Guitar. You should check them out. Oh. And they sent me this wireless kit. And so I was running around the pub. It was like quite a big pub, but running around the pub and playing at tables and all of this kind of crazy stuff. And it was really, really good. And so that's kind of filtered into, at the moment now, while I live in Bath, I'm running the Guitar Academy and I'm busking. So the performance-wise, it's definitely filtered into the busking, and teaching-wise, all of the repertoire that I've learned, the musicians that I got to play with some of the musicians were just insane. I don't know if I'm sure you've had this experience multiple times like me, but you go into a venue and someone's playing and you're just like, how are they so good?
yeah, definitely, because there's also so many niches. Even if you get good in one thing, there's so many more things to explore at all times, and so many things to get inspired by as well in that way. I love it. I love it when you see someone who's mind-blowing. It's fantastic. So did you get to see people like that while you were playing there then?
Yeah, there were lots of really, really good musicians. Just really good musicians. You've lived in London. That's where we met, you know.
Yes.
So you know that kind of standard where you might walk into a venue like Ronnie Scott's or somewhere like that. And everyone was just really, really good, and getting to play with them was incredible. Just when you think you've figured the guitar out, you see someone and you're like, wow. And the funny thing is, it's not like they're known on YouTube or a known musician or anything like that, but they are just really, really, really good. And maybe they don't want to be known. There's nothing wrong with that at all. That's not what I'm saying, but it's just the fact that you just bump into just these ordinary guys and they're just phenomenal players.
Yeah, it's amazing. I think a lot of people forget that social media is not necessary to make it as a musician or to be good at your instrument, and it's just amazing. I love asking people who some of their favorite bands are, to exactly find someone maybe I haven't heard of. But yeah, so that performance going around, has it transferred to your busking then? And what do you think is the key to a great live performance?
It comes back to the same old thing that it always had, and that's just connecting with your audience and essentially giving your audience what they want. And they want to hear songs that they know, or don't know which way, Brown, you meant to say that. They want to hear songs that they know, and or they want to be immersed in an experience and feel a part of something. And obviously, if you're playing other people's material that's well known, you've got a little bit of an advantage because they already know the songs and they can sing along if you're playing the right kind of material. If you were doing original material, then of course you'd have to create more of an experience for your audience and try and engage with them in other ways, tell them little stories and this kind of thing, and maybe do your own version of covers. But that to me is the main thing. It's connecting with the audience. Even when I'm out busking on the street, just making a bit of eye contact here and there, thanking people whenever they are kind enough to donate some money into your busking case, talking to people about. I advertise my lessons while I'm busking. I've got like a little. Do you want to see my sign? Where's my sign?
Yeah,
it's all the way over there.
Okay. Let's do it at the end if you want.
I've got my sign that I have, and then people they'll inquire about lessons and they want to know more about you because they're interested in what you're doing. They'll just come over and they'll watch a little solo or whatever it is that you're doing, or they'll let you finish your song and say, oh, I really enjoyed that, which, as you know, as a musician is one of the best things you can hear from anybody. And then I'll tell them about the academy, and they'll I'll get them to walk away with a flyer, you know, something to follow up with.
Yeah, that's really good. How has your teaching style evolved over the years? Because you've been teaching for quite a while.
Yes, yeah. The biggest time I've had away from teaching would have been last year when I was in the Middle East, and I did a few little bits online.
Yeah.
How's my teaching style evolved? Well, I guess I started teaching about, well, it was 16 years ago when I was 20. So now you know my real age.
Reveal.
And yeah, so I started by just teaching. There's a lad called, I think he was a lad called, his name was Trey, and I knew his dad, and his dad said, "Oh, Trey's 12 or 13. He wouldn't mind some guitar lessons." Then I taught a friend's brother, Josh, his name. Still see Josh from time to time. I started off with, just a couple of students. And of course, like any young guitar teacher, you're not really sure what you're doing. You obviously have this thing you want to show people how to play the guitar. You want them to be interested in it and this. And so then I went to music college and university and kind of brushed up on my theory knowledge and my knowledge about how to play the guitar. And it was when I left university in 2014, ICMP.
Yes.
You might know that one.
Yeah, for context, that's where we met, the music uni we both went to.
Yes, the Institute of Contemporary Music Performance. And when I left there, I got a position at a school in East London called Chobham Academy. And I was there for 4.5, 5 years as their guitar teacher. And that was where I really began to kind of hone in on what teaching was about and finding what a student was interested in, but finding that balance between what they're interested in, but also the guidance that I can give them. Because I don't want to be like, drag them along on my journey towards everything that I want to do. But I also can't, I also have to let the student have an amount of control over what they want to learn as well, because it's important to them, because they're also passionate about music. So it's finding that balance. And so
finding the balance of personalizing your lessons as well then.
Exactly. It's about creating, exactly the right word, personalizing a lesson for a student so that they are doing exactly what they want to do.
Actually, I think that's something that maybe we've both come out with from ICMP then, because that was the key for me to teach as well. And because I think going through university, you see there's so many ways of learning the guitar and learning the same thing through a different lens. And then you see, wow, well, I can apply that to my students. I don't need to make them learn the stuff that I want them to learn. We can encourage them through what they do. And is that something that you're applying to your Carrington Guitar Academy? Who is it suited for?
Well, at the moment, it's in the very early stages, because although I've taught for a while, this is the first time I've set out as a company, if you like. So I've had to learn all the ins and outs of how to set up a company and how to kind of run a business and the financial side. And so at the moment, I'm looking for 6 beginner guitarists to be part of a group session once a week here in Bath. And you're going to get a personalized lesson plan, but you're going to get all the benefits of learning guitar in a group situation as well. You can look at what the other people are doing. And, you know, just for instance, just for context, when I was learning, almost everything I've done is one-on-one. And you sort of, I remember the first time I had to play to an audience and how terrifying that was, because the only person I've ever played in front of was my teacher. So being part of a group, you're able to kind of get over those hurdles a little bit, I think. So that's the idea. So if you're a guitarist and you live in Bath, you could be one of the
link below to get to
the link below, yeah.
Aaron's website and sign up. I think teaching a group setting, it is just something amazing also, because you get to connect to peers like you. Maybe you'll jam together outside of your lessons as well. And I think that's a great idea, what you've started. Are you thinking of doing some stuff like that online as well?
Yes, I've got a couple of online students at the moment. One's a ukulele student, actually, and one's a guitar student. So I've got some online stuff. I haven't considered doing any group stuff online, but maybe in the future. But for now, online is just the standard kind of one-to-one thing.
Yes. Okay.
And it's normally what the student's preference. If the student has a preference for that, then we can go for that. It's fine.
Yes. Okay. So online, you're not only teaching one-on-one lessons, but I guess what a group thing is that you're doing is your YouTube channel, where you've done a lot of rubrics. And can you tell us more about what's going on there?
The YouTube channel, actually, I haven't done an awful lot on it because I'm focusing more on a local level.
So you're looking to take things in person.
Yes, exactly. Because I believe in that in-person personal connection.
Yeah,
does that sound right?
In-person
personal connection. Just
Yes.
in-person.
The person-in-person personal connection for the personalized lessons.
Personalized personal connection. There's something about having bodies in a room all together, and you just get this vibe. And I think that's, I mean, it could go off on a whole tangent about human psychology now, but I think that's a psychology thing. We want to be around other human beings. We want to engage with other human beings, and actually doing it in person is how we've done it for most of history. And all of this technology, what me and you are doing now, is still so new in the grander scheme of things.
Yeah.
And so, that's definitely something I'm moving towards is in person, definitely. But as for YouTube, the last thing I did on YouTube was a couple of videos, again, cable-free guitar. It was for the wireless system that those guys sent me a wireless system to review, which has been pretty good. It's been a pretty good piece of kit, and they're very reasonably priced for what they do. Super easy to set up. They've also got some really cool guitar straps as well. So they do those. Have you seen those neoprene guitar straps with all the nice little?
Oh, the soft ones.
Yeah.
Yes.
And they're really, really cool, I think. And I couldn't believe how light my guitar felt, because last year when I was away and I was playing 6 nights a week, I was getting a lot of shoulder ache, and I was thinking, how can I relieve this? And then luck would have it, the guy emailed me and said, "Oh, we've got a strap," and etc. And he sent the strap, and I was like, wow, this is incredible. Really, really, really comfortable.
That's awesome, because actually thinking about it, straps can be very uncomfortable, and then you get a bigger, heavier straps. Oftentimes people go with leather that are softer as well, with padding in between, but then leather is quite heavy actually. So the neoprene must actually help with that as well. I hadn't thought about that before, but yeah, good point.
Yeah, I hadn't thought about that myself either, to be honest. The fact that they call it breathable neoprene, and it lives up to its name, I think.
What are you working on at the moment? Any exciting plans for this year?
The main thing is building the academy. I've gone full swing into Carrington Guitar Academy, and just getting a roster of students that are all passionate about learning the guitar.
Yeah, so you mentioned that you're doing it as a company. Is that because you would like to also maybe in the future have some more tutors work for you and that sort of stuff, or did you just prefer to go that route because of business purposes?
It's the reason I used my name was because I don't see many things that go by the name of Carrington. That's all it really was. It was like it was a unique thing, I thought, well, okay, so because they say maybe you should put your town's name, and I was thinking, maybe it could be Bath Guitar Academy, but then there was already Bath this and Bath that and Bath the other, and I thought, okay, I'm gonna take a little bit of a risk here, and I'm gonna choose Carrington and just go with my name, and then I can kind of, when people see the word Carrington, they might maybe they'll make the cross association. They'll see Aaron Carrington, the busker, and I think he's he the one who does the Carrington Guitar Academy, and maybe there'll be an association there. So that was a little bit of the thinking behind that. And another thing is, eventually you do just have to make a decision, and it's a scary decision, because that's going to be what it's called, essentially for many years to come. And I guess if I do go down the route, and I don't know that I will, but if I do go down the route of a commercial property of my own, because at the moment it's going to be held out of a community centre, but if I do go down that route, then it will sound more fitting to have Carrington Guitar Academy.
Yeah, I agree. At Neli Music, we wholeheartedly agree with putting your name on your company. I wanted to ask you some questions that are repeated from the previous interview, just sort of to compare how things may have changed over the years. Or maybe they stayed the same. Who knows? I just thought it might be interesting to see. So,
Yeah, please, fire away.
what is your favorite part of being a musician?
It's still playing live. It's still playing live, having the connection with the audience, and being able to just let rip and do your thing and express yourself.
And another one, who is your current biggest musical inspiration and influence?
Ooh. In the midst of learning business, all the musical inspiration is kind of random at the moment. I'm just kind of dipping into. I mean, I can tell you some of the things I've had a really good time playing busking.
Yeah, I'd love to hear that.
Inspirations can change, but I've got this guitar solo mashup that I do, and I'm particularly enjoying playing the solo to Purple Rain and to Sweet Home Alabama by Lynyrd Skynyrd, which that solo I believe was played by Ed King. And then there's Bohemian Rhapsody that's in there as well, Sweet Child of Mine. So I think I'm probably influenced by all of the same stuff that I was before. I was watching a great interview just a couple of nights ago on Ola Englund's YouTube channel, if you know who he is.
Yes.
He
Will
was
is my favorite thing on his channel.
He was interviewing John Petrucci, and again, John Petrucci has been a big influence on my playing. Don't get me wrong, I'm not the sort of player who can do those hyper fast alternate picked runs the way he does and that kind of thing. But he's definitely been a big influence on my playing. He's always a player that I've been interested in. Guthrie Govan, but then which guitarist isn't interested in Guthrie Govan because the guy's just phenomenal. I'll tell you who I do.
Haven't heard of him.
The guitarist I really like online called Jack Gardiner. I believe he lives in Switzerland. He's actually from the UK. He's from somewhere around Newcastle, it sounds like, but he's got some really nice playing, just these really kind of wide intervals and big kind of slides from the bottom of the neck to the top of the neck to create a really nice wide arpeggio. And his tone is just absolutely killer as well. Really like his tone. So he's another guy that I kind of, when I'm sitting down and I'm noodling around or I'm picking things to practice, he's someone that I would quite like to emulate. Someone I also like to watch regularly is Rick Beato, because the way he analyzes music and talks about it and dives into things and brings issues to your attention. I love his rants. I love watching his rants because you're like, actually, the guy's got a point, you know? But yeah, he's another one that I really enjoy.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, I think that might have actually changed, but I'll have to compare and I'll let you know later. Can we have a look at your busking sign? I'd love to see that.
Can you see that?
Oh, yes.
So it's...
Oh, this is on your website, isn't it, as well?
Yeah, this is the kind of stuff that's on the website, and it's just designed to, just to ask a few people a few questions about, where they are on the guitar, and hopefully they'll identify with that. And once they identify with it, they might get in touch and decide to take some lessons. That's kind of the idea.
Yeah.
So have a bit of a headline up here: learn guitar the right way. Then, do you want to learn your favorite songs? Have you always wanted to learn the guitar? The proudest part for me was the QR code, this bit here.
Yeah, the QR code. It's really cool. Does it lead to your website, your new website?
It does, yeah. It just goes straight to the webpage. So
I think that looks very sleek. I had a look at it earlier in the month, and I really like that one. So yeah, again, linked below. But also because you mentioned starting the group lessons, I was actually wondering, since I've been recently teaching more kids, are these lessons age restricted in some way? Are they for kids? Are they for adults? Are they mixed?
Yeah, so the group that I'm starting is geared more towards teenagers and adults, definitely.
Okay, yeah, I think that's great that it's not restricted to just teenagers, for example, or just kids and just adults. Yeah, I think teenagers and adults can learn great together and also get good influences from each other. I think that's all my questions really. Did you want to mention something else?
I think we've just about covered everything, to be honest. Yeah. This is where I would have just put my sign in sneakily, but I've already done that. So
thank you for doing this. I'm really happy with this. Well, yeah, I don't know. I guess that's it for today. Unlike the previous video project we did, this won't get lost.
There we go.